Okay, there it goes. God, my hair, I look like a rock star today.
You do.
That's
Cool.
right. I took a shower. I don't have any product, so it's like frizzy and let's just see here. Let's just make myself look somewhat okay. Not that I care. Do I ever really care? Okay, so how are you doing?
Okay. I probably need a bit of help to get my head around a couple of things because I'm finding it hard to I get it. I get about the surrendering, the like surrendering to the acceptance and that. But I really struggle with. I think because I have normally been. How can I say this? Because I've never really fought back with any of this crap. I've absorbed it and
Mm-hmm.
internalized it and believed it. So that's the part I'm trying to understand is when you surrender and accept it, is it not still believing it and internalizing it? I just keep hitting this block with my brain about trying to understand the difference. Does that
Between,
make sense?
say it again. Say it again. Just say it. I just want to make sure I'm understanding you correctly. Just say it
Yeah,
again.
okay. Okay, so I'm struggling to understand how you surrender and accept when people tease you or whatever people think and all that sort of stuff, right? Without internalizing it and believing it.
Okay. That is such a good question. I just want you to know
Oh,
this
that's the
is
part. Oh, good, good. That's
no.
the part I've struggled with all week, and I couldn't
Well,
because I'm thinking,
the first thing I would suggest you do is
yeah,
try to understand why you care. Why do you
yeah,
care? Because ultimately, if you don't care
yeah,
about what they say,
yeah,
it wouldn't matter. So it matters, and that's why you're like, but how do you experience criticism or judgment or someone thinking they're better than you, however they think? How do you experience other people's way of thinking that is directly diminishing you in their mind? Remember, it's in their
yeah,
mind that they're diminishing you. How do you not care about those thoughts? I think it's important, first off, to recognize that there's a part of our brain that's wired to care. It's
yeah,
wired to care.
yeah,
It's ego, it's survival. Evolutionary psychology, as they call
yeah,
it, just looks at how we function, not just as a physiological, biological being on the planet, no different than an ant, no different than a bird, no different than other animals. That part of our wiring is how we function as and have evolved to be pack animals. And so
yeah,
our survival over hundreds of thousands of years evolved to recognize that we are more likely to survive if we are in groups of people rather
yeah,
than individual people. We come
yeah,
together and we can work together and we can protect each other. But the downside is that we can also harm each other. Tribal wars. How long have human beings not just have been warring in their own tribes, but against other tribes? And so I think first thing you need to do is accept and be okay with the initial response to care. Okay?
yeah,
What we're talking about is the magnitude of caring,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
I would be lying to say when someone writes something short-sighted and ignorant about what I am doing, my initial response is to want to judge them, be like they're just
yeah,
dumb, right?
mm,
That's so self-protective. And then
mm,
you get
mm,
to, and then that may come, I don't take it serious, and I go into, well, they are looking for what would work for them, and this isn't aligning for them, and they're in a position of pride, which means that they're going to put down what doesn't serve them versus accepting that this is probably amazing, I'm just not there yet. They're not in a space of neutrality.
yeah,
Okay, so I want to keep this simple. So let me repeat the question. How does one detach from caring about other people's criticism? How does one simply accept, which is the language, the criticism that others have? And I think we could say, well, if you're getting criticized by someone you don't know, do you care as much?
No, absolutely not.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's important. I think that's an important thing to look at. Okay, so it's not just criticism I care about. It's actually because the same criticism from a stranger would have far less impact.
Yeah,
you might flip them the bird. Exactly. You might be like, fuck you. You know? And then you move on. That's like I told you, my first instinct is to go, fuck you. And then I laugh at myself. I laugh at the animal in me, and it's funny. And I move on, right? So but it doesn't affect you the same way. So is it the criticism that's affecting you? Or is it the feelings of security that you need or that you've been dependent on? Is it the security of the people that you've been dependent on and wanting security from? Is their criticism, is it because it's coming from them that it creates more of an impact? That's more difficult. That's difficult to surrender to.
Yeah, well, I think that's a definite.
So that's important. Look at, it's not the criticism so much as it is what do you want from these people?
Yeah. But like, I think the second part of my question, what we're talking about, is like, I really struggled with this week of like, I really get to, and I really want to be in a place where I don't care and I can just brush it off. It's the part where I get stuck because obviously, we talked about this on the last call, that obviously I put too much value on their opinion and I believe it as the truth.
Well, I would agree with you. The other thing is, not only do you believe it's the truth, but there's something you get positively from their opinion. And so to not care then would feel like you're at a loss. There's a loss if I don't care. So as much as we want to say, if you don't care, there's a massive amount of gain, there's also a downside. You're losing something. There's something you get from their opinion for why you care so much and why you're holding on to it. What are you holding on to? I don't know. Well, there's a fantasy. Because what you just did and that face you made, I don't know. That came from reality. That came from like, clearly, why the hell do I care? These people are not very nice. They're miserable. I don't know. Well, that's obviously not what you're holding on to. There's probably some fantasy, which again comes out of survival, around if they value me, I will feel safe. So you're holding on to the illusion that they literally hold the key to your safety. So through them is your safety. They fulfill you in that way. You've given them the power of your third hierarchy of need. Do you know what I'm referencing when I say that? Maslow's hierarchy. The third hierarchy of need is essentially, in a nutshell, am I lovable? They are the ones who have the power to tell you that. You're not necessarily gratifying that for yourself. So this would be my short answer. You will be affected by their opinion as long as you are not gratifying this for yourself.
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah. Because you're still leaning on them, if you want to call it a lean, on them to give you some sense of, I am seen as a valuable part of this family. I'm cared for. I'm loved for. So, and again, that is so human, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a downside to it, however, when it becomes too extreme. Again, it's not that I don't want my family, like my own family and my marriage to my husband, to feel cohesive, right? But when it comes to me feeling lovable, me feeling valued. I learned a very hard lesson, and that's what you're learning right now.
Yep.
It is nobody's responsibility to define my value in my tribe.
Yeah.
If I give up that, if I give up that valuation from my valuation, if I give my personal valuation over to someone else, you are more likely to gravitate to, the crazy thing is you gravitate to giving it to the person who is the most opinionated.
Right, okay, yeah, gotcha.
So you're screwed because that person is more than likely, in their opinions, the most prideful and narcissistic. They're doing it to have a position in the family as the top dog. So they constantly are going to shove everybody below them. So you're going to have to be able to fulfill yourself and define it for yourself to where no matter what, I mean, if you go into the feeling of this, there is a there's a feeling that isn't intellectual. I'm speaking to your intellect right now, and I'm trying to verbalize what it feels like inside.
Yeah.
It feels as if you're alone. I'm alone.
Yeah.
That's not easy.
Yeah.
Because our nature, the animal part of our brain says, don't be alone.
Yeah.
Right? And so with that need to be with someone or to remove the feeling of being alone, often we seek, it's like a magnet. We seek something positive from other people that will pull us towards them. Okay. I want them to, we do it with nonverbal communication like this. Right?
Yeah.
Or this.
Yeah.
You know, we're looking for, hi, I'm going to give you a hug, versus hi. We're always looking for the invitation to come in.
Yeah.
And it's like a dog. Dogs do the same thing. They are tails wagging, their tails under their, butt, or their tail is straight out and their shackles are up. I mean, we're looking for nonverbal communication of safety. The problem for you is that you don't have enough sense of your own value within yourself. You don't have a sense of it enough to the point where you don't trust. You're more trusting of other people's nonverbal communication and verbal communication.
Yeah, true. It's true. Yeah, I agree with that.
So now when you get to your family, because they are the ones who hold the keys to your sense of lovability, this is where you have a choice. You're left to really care about how they feel about you. The other part of this may be, and we can look at this and go, well, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this. Like, are you competing with them? Is there a sense of pride that you're holding on to within yourself? This might not even be them. It may be your pride that is making you sensitive to their evaluations, of which, do you really know how they're evaluating you, or is it in your head? I have a feeling it's your pride. Let me just connect with this for a second. And why would pride be such a bad thing? Right? You could say in your pride, you've become very successful. Materialistically, very successful. Pride has put a lot of power and energy in whatever you're doing for your education, all of the work that you've done with your body image. Right? I mean, look at all that energy. There's an upside to that. A lot of things can get accomplished materialistically, and in terms of achievement, proving what you've done, prove to me what you've done to earn this, that's pride. But there is a severe downside to pride, which is a denial of anything that deflates your sense of self, right? And in terms of how you relate to your family, I think you have positioned yourself in a prideful position. So what that would feel like is you would be judging them. There's some way for you to cope with being made to feel inferior, where you positioned yourself to probably in your mind to say, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be better than them. And you used probably some materialistic idealism. And obviously your body image is a huge one for you. And so to accept their criticism would feel like total and utter failure, right? Like what the reverse of that pride would be that they are now better than me. I am better than them. So if they criticize me and I don't do anything about it, they are now better than me. So is the feeling, and I could be wrong, so let me ask a question to see if this is aligning. If you go into that space of criticism, the one that you're not doing well in, you're struggling in, that feeling, does the feeling feel like I am a loser? I'm a loser. They are winning. They're winning.
I think it's a feel when I think about those instances, and like let's say I was to see them now and it went back to the normal behaviour. I think the part I feel, if I close my eyes and think of the feeling, I think what my feelings are more, why do you want to hurt me?
Okay, so to you there's hurt.
Yeah, I feel more like I can't bring myself to speak to them like that. Despite whatever's happened, I just can't bring myself to possibly say something that could hurt their feelings.
Okay. Yeah, and that probably comes to the fact that you're victimized by it. And so your victim story internally is basically you're positioning that in pride. Let me see if there's a better way to explain this. Am I making any sense in any way here? So let's
I'm trying to digest it.
Let me see this. Let me keep this simple. So let's be specific around the body image, which is really what we're honing in on. That's what you're talking to me for.
Yeah.
So you're going to be this fat. You might get bigger. Your natural body is going to be bigger. And I want you to imagine going...
No, sorry.
Right away.
Yeah. Straight away, it's a horrible reaction. Yeah. Anyway,
well, you knew where I was headed, right?
Yeah.
To in front of your family.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Because they're going to tease me about it and they make fun of it.
Okay, I'm going to call bullshit right in this moment.
Okay.
There's something that you're really afraid of. Who cares about the teasing, right? That part I think you can handle.
This sounds stupid, but I can't.
You can. There's a reason underneath it that is why you say you can't. So I think you need to go deeper. There's a reason why you are afraid. There's symbolism in their teasing. Why are you afraid? Would you agree there's fear? So if we were to, I want you to just go through this feeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not dieting anymore and your body is becoming natural. A natural way of your DNA, right? Your genetics and DNA are now exposed. You're in this room and they're in that room. Okay? Yeah. And we're going to invite them in to see you. Yeah. You're not to excuse it. You're not going to say a word. You're not going to tell them a story. You're not going to say, I'll fix it later. You are exposing it as if this is permanently what's going to be. So it's like saying, I'm showing you the truth. This isn't going to get better than this. This is the truth of the body I'm in. I'm going to show it to you now. I am exposing it to you. Before we invite them in the room, just go into that space and tell me what it feels like.
I just straight away, when you said that, I feel anxiety.
Okay, that's fear.
Panic.
Yeah, that's fear.
Yeah.
So let's feel that. The feeling physically of that is like not that big of a deal. If you think about it, your heart goes up.
Yeah.
You can handle that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what's the most painful thing you've ever done with your body? For me, it was labor and delivery.
Okay. Broke my arm. I think I broke my arm.
That is way worse than fear, okay?
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Get my point? It's like, panic, wouldn't you rather, I mean, it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
in terms of the physicality of it.
True.
Okay, the shallow breathing. I can handle the shallow breathing. I can handle the heart. I can handle the, even the eyesight that gets tunnel vision. All that is actually, as much as your fear, what you're fearing, is a different experience. The actual physicality of fear is really not that big of a deal.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so feel what that feels like. Feel the heart. Okay, but there's something that the body doesn't just do that because your family's going to see your body. There is a thought that you have. There is a belief. There is something you are afraid of. There is a truth you don't want exposed. You're afraid that they will find out what?
I feel like I'm afraid that, I don't know. I feel like it's almost like that I'm afraid that they will confirm that I'm worthless.
Mm-hmm. That it's going to be exposed.
It's gonna be the proven truth.
Yes.
What they were saying. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do. Yeah. You're right on. You and I are right on line. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That the truth is that they will find out that you're a loser.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know how else to simply.
Whatever it is. Same loser, worthless, all the same thing, right?
Totally. That you are pathetic.
Yeah.
They are going to find out that you are worthless.
Yeah.
Meaningless. Pointless.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that feeling you have.
Yeah.
So you feel that way.
Yeah.
So they're just you're afraid of them confirming your own assumptions.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. It's more that I'm afraid that they'll confirm what I believe.
Yeah, it's your belief that actually is the problem. You believe, and it's again the pride of the thinness. You've put a lot of pride in that body image to the point where if you don't have it, you feel like you have absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the pride that I'm talking about. The pride and the thinness, like that's my pride. Well, there's a big downside to that pride. Besides the fact that you become a slave to that insane degree of work that comes out of it. It comes back to be the weapon of pride ends up going against yourself.
Yeah.
This type of shame is really part of the lowest state of consciousness if we look at conscious levels. Like shame is way at the bottom in terms of how our brains function. And the fear part of it is kind of holding you hostage because you're afraid of your own worthlessness.
Yeah.
It's you that's afraid of your own worthlessness. If they confirm it, it's not them that created it. If they confirm that you're worthless, you're the one who is still creating and believe the worthlessness relative to thinness, right? So how do we surrender to this is you have to surrender to the worthlessness as if I am worthless. Why even question it anymore? I know this sounds counterintuitive, but going into the worthlessness, the problem is you may believe it, but you don't believe it enough to the point of acceptance. You're stuck in your cage running away from the worthlessness, proving you're not worthless. So what if you actually are worthless? What if that is true?
I really struggle with that.
Well, but what if it's true? You're struggling to accept it. That's what you're saying. I struggle to accept that. Well, what if there's nothing to be accepted? What if it is what it is?
But isn't that what you believe? And look where it's gotten me.
No, you are afraid of that. And look where your fear got you.
Okay, got you. I see the difference. Okay.
There is a big difference, isn't there?
Yeah, that's true. I never really thought about it like that, actually.
Significant. This is kind of a big deal that you can tell there's a difference between your fear
Yeah,
and what I'm saying. But what if it is you are worthless? What if that is truth? If it is true and you
yeah.
accept it, what happens to your insanity trying to run away from it and avoid it and your fear of people's confirmation of it? Your
It just
slavery.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just
It just
accept.
goes.
Yeah, this is the going out through the bottom.
Yeah.
I am inferior. This is the resolution to narcissism.
Okay.
That is the
That's
pride level. That's the
Yeah.
pride level of being.
I think that's the part I was really struggling with, right? Is because, I said to you, I couldn't work out the difference between accepting it but not believing it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, well, the problem is you were
started
stuck in your fear of it. You kind of,
the
that's
fear
what
of
I'm,
it.
yeah, you're stuck in your fear of it. First of all, you are worthless. It's relative.
Yeah.
I am too. What am I really worth? How do we put an amount on that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Who should we give the power to tell us our worth?
Yeah, exactly.
Your sisters, your parents, even yourself. If you, again, the self-righteous part of pride is saying that I self-determine my value. And typically the ego or the survival brain says, well, I'm going to attach to this environment. My worth is based on what I have. And as you become more prideful, it's based on what I've achieved, versus the inanimate object of having. Like, I have these bananas. I am amazing, right? My car. A lot of people attach to those items. As you mature a little bit, you become, well, the car is meaningless. It's how I got the car. So we get prideful about my work and how I'm better than you because I have more education or, your achievements. And where we're headed right now is what makes you valuable is just your beingness, which you have no power and control over. But relative to the world we live in, you are worthless.
Yeah. I understand that. I think that's the part I didn't understand was that it's actually I was confusing acceptance with the fear of it.
Yeah, well, you can't you're having a hard time getting to acceptance because you still have fear of it.
Still have the fear.
Yeah, so what I'm directing you to do is go into what's wrong with being worthless.
Yeah.
What is wrong with that?
What is wrong with it?
I don't know. I've come to realize there's nothing
wrong with it.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And it's relative to perception.
So how do you get to that point then? Like, how do you get to that point where you have fear of worthlessness? Like, how did I get to this point to think that worthlessness was something to be scared of?
Well, because because of the, primal need to be wanted, to think that my worth comes from others' opinion of my worth. And so the actual attachment, if you want to call it an attachment to other people's valuation of you. Yeah. And so you become very fearful of negative evaluations from other people. Yeah. And then you start to attach to, well, how are they negatively assessing me? Well, based on my body. Well, then my body needs to be changed. And I don't want that. I don't want that. It feels bad. It feels negative. I don't like it. So it's just part of just learning to be a human being. And now we're learning to transcend that human beingness. Yeah. We have this amazing brain that is not just the animal ancient lizard brain. We have the prefrontal cortex. We have these other senses. We have all of this weird ability to have foresight and compassion and in a magnified way, and so it's like we have the animal brain and this angelic brain, and you're trying to get out of the animal brain. And I'm saying, well, the only way out of the animal brain ultimately is to go into how it is wired, which is survival mode. So we're going to go down into death. Death by shame. You have to be able to go through death by shame and to realize that, it was actually a matter of sitting through a little bit of heart palpitations, sweatiness, hot flashes a little bit, going through fear. Being afraid of fear is even worse. So that's another reason why I just said, let's just feel the fear out. If you look at the physicality of fear, it is easy relative to actual, like a broken arm or pushing a baby out my vagina.
Sorry, you're just very funny.
just saying the truth. That hurt.
Oh my God, you're so funny.
Or even pulling off a scab,
Yeah.
I was cutting up chicken for my dog, and I actually had a machete and cut my thumb in the center of it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's way worse than fear.
Yeah, you're right.
If I actually go back even to that pain, it really wasn't as bad as labor and delivery.
Yeah.
So when we go through the actual fear and we are willing to sit in the fear, it kind of opens our minds around how ridiculous and the degree of obsessiveness just trying to escape fear. But it's not the fear when we look at it that we're trying to escape as much as it is the pride, our pride getting hurt. That they will find out that I'm not as superior as I imagine myself to be. I imagine myself to be superior, and I want them to imagine that superiority too.
Yeah.
It's all an illusion to even think that in your thinness, that they would look at you in a superior way. Yeah. It's your superiority view that you're projecting onto them. It's your inferiority of being overweight that you are projecting onto them. That they will shame me as much as I shame myself for this purpose. So how do we get rid of that? Well, you take what you're ashamed of and you make it permanent. Make it permanent. In the permanence of that physicality. And you would go through fear of exposure. And the only way to really transcend all of it is to open your mind around the belief. Am I really worthless if I'm fat? Am I really worthless if I don't have a brand new nice car? Am I worthless if I don't have more education than them? So remember when I said when you're in survival states, the really low survival states attached to materialistic things, materials. Yeah. I have. Yeah. Right. Very, very juvenile. It's a very juvenile, like I have a toy. My toy's bigger than yours. As you develop, it becomes into pride, which is it's me that I'm accomplishing. I'm superior to you because of my accomplishments. Look at how hard I work. I'm better than you. And where we're headed is to none of that really matters. It's like giving up what you have, your body image, giving up the symbolism of what you've accomplished through thin supremacy and food deprivation, right? Yeah. And we're going into who you are. Who are you without all of that? Without your religion, without your good works and deeds, without your intellect, without your stuff. It really comes down to the foundation of being.
Can I ask you a question? I'm sorry if this is going backwards because I just feel this thought coming in my head and I'm sort of struggling to get it. Do you know, like how we talk, like I wanted to lose weight and I wanted to be successful financially and stuff. And it wasn't, I didn't ever feel like I wanted to be better, but I thought, one, if I was thinner, the teasing could stop. And two, if I earned a lot of money, I could help. And so I'm trying to understand Like,
Well, that could be you trying to overreach. Both of those could be you trying to position yourself in a like a pecking order. So if I have all this money, then I will be positioned to be, appreciated. So you need to look at the symbolism of all of that.
yeah, because I feel like in all of my quests, I just don't feel that I was aiming to try and be better, but I thought if I did those things, either I would be liked, or the teasing would go away, or like I would give them less to tease me about, and if I could help them, then they might like me a bit more.
Yeah, you're
Do you know
overreaching.
what I mean?
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of that is dependency. It's all of that is the victim position, bring the person. If I rescue them, then they will like me and they'll see me for who I am. You're still describing I need their approval.
Yeah.
I need their approval. Their disapproval is everything.
Yeah.
If you look underneath it all, you probably feel jaded because you feel that they are not giving you what you think you deserve, which is acceptance. I just want them to accept me. And they took that away from me. There's loss in your acceptance. So you are a victim and you're powerless to what they've taken from you. They don't accept me. So there's a definite poor me position in that. And so it doesn't have to be I'm better than them. It's more like I want them to give me what's rightfully mine, which is acceptance. So I'm going to work my ass off. Should anybody have to do what you're doing just to be included or accepted?
No.
So stop. So what you're the one who's choosing to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes a difference if you make money. I mean, you set out to make money and help them, and you're the one who set out to be thin and did it ever really do anything?
No, you're right. It's not one thing. It was something else.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with you. You're making it about you.
Yeah. I'm making it about me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Sorry, I just have to think about that. So I'm just getting charged. That's why I'm walking around.
Oh, no worries. Not a big deal. You're making it about you. Yes, definitely. Which is to be expected in this state of mind. Because survival is about me. It's how it's supposed to work. Mine, me.
Yeah.
And so when you're making everything you're doing, even with making money and giving it to them, it's really about you. It's self-serving.
Yeah, I'm obviously doing something for myself.
Yeah, totally.
So
it's not even an unconditional, I love you, take this money. There are strings attached.
Yeah.
They need to appreciate you. And so that actually makes it even more difficult for you to detach from it all, because the more you do, you're not getting the gratification of the hard work and the look at me, you should be proud of me, because you're again there. It sounds like hyper dependency on their approval.
Yeah, sure.
And so there's some it doesn't sound necessarily authentic so much what you're doing. You're doing what you perceive would be valued based on the group that you're in. That's what I did, right? I did the same thing. In my family who held the keys to my self-worth, I needed them to value me, to feel valued. And I was number 9 of 10, and I was at the bottom of the pecking order, and I was used for their entertainment and teased for fun all the time. And it's understandable then why in that position, being put in that position, that you would overreach to be getting their attention, to get their approval, and how they would find you annoying and how they would judge you then, or, use you and making fun of you for their own entertainment. It's from their perspective, and that may be where you're lacking, is the ability to open your mind around what type of mindset they must be in to find it entertaining to do that. Yeah. Is it really about you?
No, I think I've understood that to some extent, because
but there's a certain extent that you have not understood that.
Yeah.
That's what we are talking about. It's to the extent you don't see that. That is the problem.
Yeah, because like if you did understand that, then you'd think, oh my God, why would I give a shit about what these silly people think?
Because you realize that it's really their own entertainment. It has nothing to do with you. Yeah, it has to do with whatever game they're playing in their own head.
Yeah.
You're just a body. You're just a part. You're just in the pecking order, and they are using. It would be any of them in that order that person would use to do this too. And so why make it? You're making it so personal. Right? That's why it's about me. It's about me. It's personal. And what if it's really only personal about them? What if it's about them?
Yeah. Yeah, but see, this is where I think I complicated it for myself, because those things that I saw in my family unit, I then sort of like expected to see them in other areas of my life, whether it be people at work or my in-laws, and do you know what I mean? Like I start assuming everybody's got the same behaviors.
Because yes, but there's
do you know what I mean?
Yes, and it's because you believe those beliefs. You believe them as much as you think they're believable, and that's how you project it into the world. So, it's not as complicated as you're making it. It's as simple as the willingness to be inferior in your family, to take that position. I'm willing to take that position. Now, is it personal? Does it mean that you are inferior? And what if you are inferior? What if you are in this family the least capable, the least innovative, the least intelligent? What if that's true by nature?
I don't know. I just keep coming back to that thing of, okay, if I was all those things, then I would be like, I would be shamed for that,
Well, the shame would come from the idea that you could be better than that. But what if that's not true? What if you're not better than that? I mean, don't you agree that if that is your physiological and biological state, is there any way to be better than that, really? And should you have to go to this extent to where your whole entire life is insane, running in a rat wheel trying to prove otherwise?
No, I don't think that's right. I think that's just crazy.
So then go back, and it is crazy, but because that's what you've been doing, trying to prove otherwise.
Yeah.
So what if you are? What if you are the inferior one in the family? What if you are the dumbest? What if you are? Why deny it anymore? Get rid of the pride. I really think this is a pride problem. What's wrong with that? If that is true, should you also include the mental illness proving that you're not?
No, it's nuts.
So what if you are? What happens if you go in that and you can say, well, it is what it is. I accept it. What happens now to how you fear their disapproval?
Well, I really get that just goes away, because I don't know why I'm struggling so much to understand this.
Just keep on going. You're distracting yourself from it. You're going into denial every single time. There's some form of denial. So when something comes up that's uncomfortable, don't deny it. Don't try to escape it. Just let it come in. So you are inferior. What if you are? What if that's true? And there's no amount of denial. There's no amount of pretending it's not true that's going to change it. What if it's true and all of this suffering you've done has been a complete and total waste?
Yeah.
Pretending that you're not. Hiding from you not being that way. What if it's true?
Yeah.
What if the way you escape your insanity... I know, that's my point. It is what it is. It's an illusion to think you can change it.
Yeah.
You're suffering thinking you can change it. You can prove that you're not. And so now you've spent years trying to prove that you're not. And how you're going to keep on doing it as long as they keep on saying you are. You're going to go, no, I'm not.
Yeah. So Do you know what? You've just helped me realise something, right? Because I took a true example, right? So based on external opinion, and I can admit this, is that I am the least attractive of my siblings, right? And I told you my family is all about looks and blah, blah, blah. Whilst some people agree, some people disagree, I could honestly say that I am the least attractive, right?
So
and
what?
It is what it is. It is exactly. No, but you've just helped me understand this situation, right? Because not that I judge that, but let's just say.
But you do judge that.
Okay. Yes. All right. Take that back. That was shit. I do
Don't
judge that.
stop denying it, right? Go into truth. Just tell the goddamn truth.
But you're right. If I am the least attractive, and it is what it is, and I can't change it, I am who I am. What's so bad about that? It is just what it is, right?
Yeah. Why position yourself to be in hatred with your body and resentment and be victimized by the body you're in? Why does it matter? I have the weirdest, curliest hair in my family. It does not, I can't do my hair. It grows straight up. It grows and it's frizzy, right? No one in my family has this hair. Out of 10 children,
right.
This is it. My mom has totally perfectly straight hair. No one else knows how to do it. I grew up with the ugliest hair on the planet. I swear to God, it was nasty. And you know what? The moment I realized this was what I was born with, the hair follicles have their own agenda.
Yeah.
Being upset about it is a waste, complete waste of life energy.
You're right. I know that.
I had hairy arms growing up. I have this mole that one of my sisters constantly says is a booger.
What a horrible thing to say.
Is it really that horrible?
No.
You know, labor and delivery, that was horrible.
Yeah, true.
So again, why victimize me? I'm not a victim. I think it's kind of funny. It kind of does look like a booger. I mean, look at that. It looks like...
I'm just laughing at the word.
Right.
Such an American word.
Is it?
We don't use that word.
Booger?
No.
What do you guys call it?
Greenie.
What is it? Greenie?
Yeah, greenie.
A greenie. I got a greenie right there. Those of you in Europe, a greenie. See, such a sister thing to say to me, you know? Yeah. And to get offended by that because I need her approval would have been even worse for my psyche.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's just...
I get that.
Right, so but here's the thing. When you are good, being the loser in the family, I'm the ugly one in the family. I'm the dumb one in the family. I am the most annoying in my family. I'm just telling you the truth right now. Should I just come out of the closet fully here? I am probably the most... I'm not going to say emotional. I am absolutely the most annoying in my family. Boundary issues, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know what to do any different. So here we are.
Yeah.
To worry about it and to placate that to some degree would mean that I am a slave to holding back the truth and denying the truth or trying to pretend that I didn't have ADHD as a kid, you know, or as an adult. Anyway, so go into that for yourself. So what? You're the ugliest one in the family or the least beautiful. Who cares? Why is that a big deal to you? You have to ask yourself that. Why is that a big deal to you? Why does it matter? It is what it is. If you accept that and say that's just the body, is that, you know, the immaturity of what I have? I have an ugly body, therefore I am ugly. You know, the immaturity of I have a beautiful body, therefore I am beautiful. That's very juvenile thinking, correct?
Yes, correct.
So why stay stuck there?
I don't know.
Well, let's move on. Let's transcend that. Let's go into so what?
Yeah.
There's lots of bodies out there. Does it matter? Does that really matter if we open ourselves up to what life is truly about? Does it really matter? Is your happiness truly based on your beauty?
No, I know it's not.
Well, it has
I know
been.
it's not.
It shouldn't be. So surrender that. Surrender beauty. I'm surrendering beauty from happiness. I am no longer attaching happiness to beauty. Therefore, the beauty, I don't have to have beauty.
Yeah.
I don't have to have other people's attractiveness to this body. Do you want to be do you want to have people around you who are just attracted to the way you look? They only give you value based on their perceptions of your beauty?
No, because I'm one of those people who, you know, I actually get upset sometimes. Like, you know, when creepy guys look at you on the street, it really pisses me off, you know. But then on the other hand, if I don't get attention, I get pissed off as well. So I'm one of those. It's never a win-win. Do you know what I mean? Like it's sometimes you hate it, sometimes you like it, and it's. Do you know? Like
yeah. So you tell me, is that what you do? You want that to be?
No, I don't like that.
So how do we get rid of that? How do you care? How do you stop caring about other people's opinion about it?
I don't know. It's just like I shouldn't care about it.
You're right. Your answer, you do know. You just said it.
Yeah.
I have to not care about it. I have to not care about it.
I have to not care about it. I have to not care about it.
And how do we get you to not care about it?
Is like I have to like.
We just did it with you in relation to your family. What did you go into?
Yeah, so I have to accept that I'm fat, or I don't know how to say that. So
you're ugly, you're fat.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Relative to everybody else who's thinner and prettier than you, yes, you are the loser.
Yeah. The loser. Okay, that's a better way to say it, because the loser then encapsulates everything.
All the negative feelings.
You are at the bottom of all the measures.
Yeah, I am the loser.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
So it's not to say, well, I got to find something other that makes me the winner. The goal is that I don't want to win anymore either.
Yeah.
I don't want any of it. I want freedom from all of this materialism